South India Shopping Mall, The Wedding Mantra, Sarikotta Wedding Collection, South India Shopping Mall.
ఇప్పుడు నాతో ఉన్న గెస్ట్ అంటే మోస్ట్ ఆస్క్డ్ గెస్ట్ అనమాట. ఈ షోకి తీసుకురావాలి మాట్లాడాలి అని. రీసెంట్గా మీరు మంగళవారం మూవీ హిట్ అయిన మూవీ మంగళవారం మీరు చూసినట్లయితే అందులో రివీలింగ్గా వచ్చిన క్లైమాక్స్లో రివీలింగ్గా వచ్చిన క్యారెక్టర్ చేసిన దివ్యా పిల్లయ్ గారు ఇవాళ మనతో ఉన్నారు. నమస్తే.
Namaste, namaste.
హౌ ఆర్ యూ?
Very good, Harshini. Thank you so much for having me here.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ కమింగ్. నౌ ఐ విల్ స్టార్ట్ స్పీకింగ్ ఇన్ తెలుగు. బేసిక్గా దివ్యా పిల్లయ్ గారు ఈజ్ మలయాళీ. నేను తెలుగులో మాట్లాడడానికి ట్రై చేస్తాను. అక్కడక్కడ కొన్ని ఇంగ్లీష్ వర్డ్స్ వాడతాను సో దట్ అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. యా, ఓకే.
నేను తెలుగు హౌ డు ఐ సే అండర్స్టాండ్,
అర్థం చేసుకుంటాను.
అర్థం చేసుకుంటారు.
వైల్ మాట్లాడడం
కొంచెం
గ్రామర్
మిస్టేక్ లైక్ వర్డ్స్ ఎలామే లైక్
ప్రొనౌన్స్ చేయడం లాంగ్ వర్డ్స్ కూడా
ఐ డోంట్ నో హౌ టు సే ఇట్ బ్యాక్, బట్ ఐ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్. దానికి అర్థం అయింది,
అర్థం అవుతుంది.
అర్థం అవుతుంది.
నైస్. సో మీకు అర్థమైంది కదా సిచ్యువేషన్.
That is the issue right now.
ఓకే, ఎనీవే మా ఆడియన్స్ ఆర్ రెడీ. అంటే మీరు అసలు మీ గురించి తెలుసుకోవాలని, లైక్ వేర్ యూర్ ఫ్రమ్ అన్నీ తెలుసుకోవాలని దే ఆర్ వెయిటింగ్. విల్ మేనేజ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ నౌ. ఓకే, ఎలా ఉన్నారు? హౌ ఆర్ యూ?
బాగున్నారు. So like I'm very happy to be here. Mangalavaram, thank you so much. Like the love that I've got from the people, like you know, it's like I didn't expect. Other konchu like a villain character. I was like, okay, parvale konchu different ayirukum. Like you know, for me to also to perform, you know, it'll be nice. I thought like, and I like doing a little bit of a challenging role. So something that's different. So when that came up, I was like, okay, it's interesting. And then finally, for the movie to release, it took almost a year after we shot. Like oru varshika aprada, like it released. So I was waiting so much, like you know, like because I was keen on seeing. Because the story itself is a bit controversial.
Exactly.
Very controversial story. So I've never been a part of like such a controversial, like you know. So I was like, I was nervous about that. I was nervous about like you know how my character would be perceived. Like you know, from innocent, then suddenly did it work? Like you know that the changeover,
that revealing, was that surprising or not?
அது வந்து like audience க்கு அது like did they capture that, did they get it? அதெல்லாம் like you know, so I was like very ரொம்ப like ஒரு nervousness இருந்துச்சு like. And then finally when it came out, and unfortunately at that time I was abroad. I was shooting for a Tamil film. So I was in Malaysia, so I couldn't come for the promotions and to see because usually for my first show, like we have a special show, Malayalam films, and I like to watch it with the audience,
so that you could see the reaction.
See the reaction. Like I love it, you know. So like when they apota like okay,
it's like a verdict, right?
Like what we have done. Exactly. So it's like okay, so whatever we have done, if it's negative or you know positive response, it doesn't matter. If people like can understand your character, if they can, so that means your job okay, good.
Perfect.
So you feel like okay, fine, okay, it's good. So that kind of satisfaction is it's amazing, and that's why I'm doing this, like you know, so that
so Mangalavaram tarvata release tarvata you haven't gave any interview, right? This is your first interview after Mangalavaram.
Yeah.
Nice. But team vallu, did they record and send you the reactions at the theaters?
Yes. I saw some of them, and Ajay sir had avanga vandu like he was like telling me like Divya, please come and just see, you know, and I was like, sir, it's all thanks to Ajay sir, because it's his writing and his vision of that character.
Director Ajay Bhupati.
Yes, Ajay sir's so avanga vandu like the character, like how he executed, you know, the character, and how he kept that character as a secret till the end.
Exactly.
Nobody even guessed that is a writer's and a filmmaker's brilliance.
Yeah.
I always say I'm a director's actor. However they want to portray me, because I'm new to this. I'm new to acting. I never thought that I would be an actor.
Okay.
So never. I was working in Dubai for an airline as a commercial analyst, as an analyst. So I never thought that I would be here and working as in the movies, or it just by chance happened.
How?
So
We want to know.
So my story is like I was born and raised in Dubai.
Okay.
Lived all my life there, and then I did my engineering in Coimbatore.
Okay.
That's how I'm little, familiar with
Tamil.
with Tamil, yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, I went back to Dubai. I was working with my dad first in his business, and then finally Emirates. I was for the longest time, like I was working as an intern first over there in Emirates as a cabin crew recruitment team, like an admin job.
Okay.
So that was my first job, and then from there I grew and I was like working. Then I moved to Fly Dubai, and that's another airline. And it was my dream. Like when I was a child, I lived next to the airport, and there in Dubai they used to have these Dubai Air Show.
Oh, okay.
So it's brilliant to see that, like they're different fighter aircrafts with colors and everything, with the different flags, and so different countries would represent. So I always was fascinated by that. I always wanted to become, so I wanted to become a pilot, and then I realized that there's a lot of responsibility that you're carrying. About 300 other souls is your responsibility. So I was like, okay then, and I'm scared of flying.
Okay. Oh, you're scared of flying?
Yeah, I'm scared of flying. So because I had an experience like while I was traveling back from Coimbatore to Dubai once, to Sharjah once. It just happened like a turbulence. And it's a bit, and I really freaked out after that.
Oh, it was severe then.
Yeah, it was
severe turbulence.
Severe turbulence, and it just dropped.
Oh.
Yeah. So then
on the
happens,
runway.
No. Then while you're flying, sometimes there are air pockets. So then the flight just drops. Sometimes it happens with a pressure difference. It's safe. There's absolutely no problem, but it happens sometimes. But then that really,
tension.
that really. Because of that, I was really scared, and I was very young at that time. So I was like, okay, I'm scared of this, but I don't. So I don't. Then I was like, you know what? I don't want to become a pilot. Maybe not. But then let me try. But I always wanted
somewhere related to airline on the ground.
Not up air, not up in the air, but then somewhere in the ground I can help the people get in and go. So I worked in different departments. I have worked in airport services, reservations, in different departments. Like I kept moving around, and finally I was in the commercial department. And and then while I was working for airport services is when like I went for my friend's wedding, and she got married to a celebrity, a Malayalam celebrity, Kavya Madhavan's brother.
Okay.
So she so at the event, like at her wedding, there were so many directors, and they kind of like, one of them noticed me for this movie that he was directing. And that was Vineet Kumar sir for Fahad Fasil's movie Ayal Janella. That was my first movie.
Okay.
So that's how they contacted my friend, said, and so she was like, I thought it was a prank call. Honestly, I thought she was pranking me. She's like, you know what? You were there, you came for the wedding, right? So then this director saw you, and he wants you to be there in this movie. This is character called Hira. It's like, Fahad's heroine, second heroine. So why don't you do it? And I was like, you're joking. I didn't believe it. And then she's like, just do it. It'll be fun. She kind of convinced me. Then when I told my parents, my dad was very supportive. And that's how I did that movie.
Okay.
And I enjoyed the whole process of acting. I didn't know that I could do it. I didn't know what shooting was. I didn't know, and even movies also, I used to watch very less because I was so focused at work. You're working for 10, 12 hours a day. After that, you don't really get time much to watch movies or whatever, then your weekend, if someone says like, oh, it's an amazing movie, it's funny. And yeah, I like comedy movies. I like watching comedy. So that's when I go and, watch a movie. Otherwise, that's how disconnected with movies I was.
Okay. you are very new to the industry, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that nervous? Wasn't it nervous being on the set for the first time?
See, that's my first movie. Was they were very considerate and kind, and I thought all movies, everyone would be considerate and kind, and that's how it's going to be. So I was just patient. I was just watching and learning, and I enjoyed this. But at the same time, my still even back then, this was in 2015. So I was like, okay, my passion is still to be in the aviation industry, and I wanted to become like top level management, and that's where I see myself. So corporate life is what I wanted to be in, and then there's a certain kind of discipline that corporate life has. So sometimes I used to expect the same over here, like, so that was a bit
On being all the time,
and being,
leaving by 6,
and all the like, not only that, it's like, certain deadlines, meeting deadlines and everything. But here, sometimes at shoot, there's so many things that could happen. Like, nothing, even if you plan to the T, like, there will be something that might be. So that's where you have to be prepared at all times. I was not ready for that.
Okay.
So so I didn't know that. Like, I was like, no, but then they said that tomorrow is my shoot, and then I'm supposed to be, why am I here? Why am I waiting here? Like, one morning till evening, when is my shot ready?
Okay, you thought the moment you come, they'll
take my shots, and I'm like, okay, that's but it doesn't happen like that. Like, several times, there would be some other, there's a rain, or there is the vehicle doesn't come, or some small error, and then they have to improvise and take another scene, and then that's because every day that you spend, it's money.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that okay, there is just not just people's time. And so it was like, I enjoyed the process of acting, like being on screen, turning into someone else, and that was very magical for me. Like, I really, and I did.
You can live another life in the same life.
Yeah, and from somebody else's perspective and somebody else's character, you're giving life to it, and thinking about that person, how they will think, and that was very interesting for me. And I mean, I enjoyed that part of it, and I used to go back work, so unpaid leave. So then my second movie happened with Jitu Joseph sir and Prithviraj sir. Was my second movie called Ooram.
The village, that one?
No.
Another one.
This is a Malayalam film.
Okay.
Ooram, it's called. Jitu Joseph sir was the director, and the lead was played
When
by.
was your first movie released?
2015.
15, okay.
Yeah. This was in 2016. So my like, from the previous movie when it released, I got called for the second movie, and so that's what, every time it's happened like that. Like, my previous movie gets me the next movie. It's been always like that. I've been lucky that way, touch wood, that and but after Ooram, I took a 3-year break, because I got promoted in Dubai, and I couldn't take time off. For Ooram, I had to take 2 months of unpaid leave, and I realized that, but so many movies that came to me became a hit. I had to turn it down because I couldn't take time off. So then there was a pinch, I started watching movies differently, like understanding, now that I understand the process, what happens behind the scenes.
Exactly, yeah.
So then, like, when I started watching movies, I started seeing it in a different, and I used to be like, okay, if I did this, how would I do it? So that kind of thing. And then,
that missing feeling.
Yeah. And and whatever you do, when you go back at a desk and you work, you won't get that satisfaction.
Exactly. Once you see,
once you're in here, and my first director, he had told me, Vinitharan had told me that, you wait and watch. Once the cinema bug bites you, and you will definitely come back. You will not sit. I said, no, that is my passion. I want to know. I'll become, my God, I'll become the vice president, and no, my goodness, no. And then he was like, no, you're going to come back here. This is what's going to happen. And then I was like, oh. And he's so right about it. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
And I'm thankful to him for my career. Like, every director of mine, the trust that they had in me, like, to give me that character and that role. It's like, yeah.
And even Mangalavaramlo kuda, the role that you did, it's so perfect. that innocence, that smile and all perfectly suited you. కరెక్ట్ గా అలాగే సెట్ అయ్యారనమాట ఆ రోల్ కోసమే ఉన్నట్టు మీరు. అది అంటే అజయ్ భూపతి గారు ఐ డోంట్ నో హౌ హీ సెలెక్టెడ్.
He saw my movie Kala in Malayalam. That's how they saw me in that movie. Adukapram like they called me for this role. And initially I was a bit like, I was like, okay. But then I was like, you know what? It's a like negative character. So how I see it is that if you remove my character from the movie, how important is it? Like, that's how I decide on.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. So as long as I have a, like, of course I love to do lead roles, and I enjoy doing my lead characters and whatnot. But then sometimes, as an actor, you just have to. I love to see. I didn't restrict myself. Okay, because it's a negative role, I will not do it. I loved that character. Like somehow that was like, it gave me that edge. So yeah. And sometimes when you're doing a negative character, you have a range of emotions that you can portray. Like I feel like, there is usually it is I think it is always sadness or happiness or love. You have to variate yourself in this zone, like, but when it is like a negative, like a bold, or like a different kind of, you have different range. It carries you, the graph goes like, like, so you can put yourself in different, and you can just float into it. So that's what I enjoyed, like the changeover, like, I really, the way how when Ajay Bhupati sir said that, when he's going to come and you're going there, you're like, you want to know like what happened, is who's the next person's name that is written there, what's going to happen, because she's afraid whether her husband will know that it's her name. And then she's like, oh, what's happened with that? And then he already knows by then. And when he puts me in that, I'm already prepared to kill him. Like,
yeah.
So that whole thing of like, that's where he wanted my change to come.
Okay.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing that scene.
బట్ ఇన్ రియల్ లైఫ్లో కూడా ఇఫ్ యూ సీ అంటే మన అలా కైండ్ ఆఫ్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ చూసినప్పుడు ఇట్స్ వెరీ అంటే రిలేట్ చేసుకోవడం కష్టం. వీ కాంట్ రిలేట్ టు దెమ్. వీ డోంట్ ఈవెన్ రీడ్ అబౌట్ దెమ్ అంత ఫ్రీక్వెంట్ గా మనం వీ డోంట్. బట్ relating is one thing, and living in that character
is a different thing. See, that's one thing. Like, I enjoy it at that time. Once he says cut, I'm out of it also. I don't understand this whole thing of like, I enjoy being someone else. I know I'm playing someone else. Like, that much Like, and then you can, because you're playing with your facial expressions, you're playing with your faces and, how you're emoting. And it's just fun to do that. But that doesn't mean that, you get into deep in that. Emotionally, you get connected to that. I can't do that because some of the characters that I've chosen to do also, like, I don't agree with it. And completely that I don't agree with, I don't take it up also. That's also there. There are some characters where that's come to me and then I'm like, I don't feel it. Like, sometimes it happens. Like, you feel it. Like, that's where I draw the line. Like, oh no, I can't do it. Or like, you have to let go of certain things. Like, But this one was interesting for me. She's frustrated. So I created the whole backstory in my head. She's frustrated. She's angry. She's like, and that's how Ajay Bhupati sir explained that to me, like, help me, because she's being abused by her husband. And, and these things happen in real life, and people don't talk about it or anything, but you see that around you. So then I felt like, okay, you know what, why not? It's not like it's going to change anything or anything, but then at least it's shown out to people, right? Like, whoever is this nice portraying people, not necessarily, they have their reasons. We are not known to judge, but they have their reasons to do whatever they want. But this is life.
Exactly, yeah.
So and that was important. And it was important, and he was so adamant, about that. And he was like saying that there are so many people, and I initially even I was like, why can't she just leave her husband and then go and do whatever she wants? Like, that's what anyone would do with common sense.
But like, it's quite unusual in villages. Leaving a husband is
and then going. And he's like, no, it is not. It's not for people like that. It's not. They like to, and for them, it's so important, this image, this respect, this,
the family carries.
The family carries and everything. That is important. So we had a long discussion about this for him to, you know, tell me, and then it made sense to me to a certain level that why this person is like this. And obviously, it's a bit more dramatic in movies, not like that in real life. But this is what, you know, makes you think, no? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people, like, you know, I know, like, after coming to India, moving to in 2020, I made this decision. Okay, I'm taking up acting.
But right now you're not
No, I'm not. 2019 August, I resigned.
Okay.
And I moved to Kochi 2020 Jan 1st.
Okay.
So that's, and I'm grateful and happy that I've taken the decision, you know. It took me a while to decide that, because you need to have that financial stability, because this industry, as much as it's glamorous and beautiful,
it's uncertain too.
it's uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty around it. And I knew that you're not getting, like, so I'm so used to having this monthly salary every month. You plan everything, you plan your finances, you plan everything is planned. But here no matter what you do, how much ever you plan, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you have to be like, you know, so I want to make sure that I'm financially okay. So then I'm not like, you know, and I can choose what I want to do. If the movie is nice, if the script is well with me, it's like I get to, I'm not like desperate for work in that sense or anything of that sort. So I have that freedom to
choose.
Yeah, and that was important to me.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's where I am right now.
But you quit your job and you
Yeah.
came here.
Yeah.
Like this pressure of not doing work every day and
Yeah.
expecting work and expecting more work.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a pressure for you?
You know, it's like, it's not a pressure. See, that's why it's important that you need to have some sort of, like, that's why I took a break and I was continuously working. I took some time to decide. So financially I was okay. I made some money, I kept some, you know, so financially you're good. You're not like, you know, you're not depending on, and of course you have your parents' backup also. But you can't every time, you know, your first month you can ask, second month you can ask. After that, you're like, your parents are like, what are you doing? You left your job and you came here. So then that's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But this, you don't let yourself, sometimes some movies you might have to do, you know, where if you see financial gain, sometimes you do certain things for, you might take a lesser remuneration, but if the character and the team and everything is good, if it takes you to another level and you get that satisfaction. It all depends on how you want to, it's all up to that person. Sometimes, and I have this actor friend in Malayalam, he's like, and he's directed a movie, he's very famous, okay, Dhyan Srinivasan. So Dhyan, I remember he telling me, like, I was like, Dhyan, he's so busy and he, you know, he's going continuously, he's working, and whenever he's very funny, he's a funny person. And he mentioned this to me, saying that sometimes you just have to do movies because we are actors. This is what we're doing. This is our job. So as any other person, you have to consider this as a job. Yes, sometimes for me it's difficult to name a price tag on myself, on my acting or
work.
you know, for work. But sometimes you just have to stand strong in your ground and you say that, yes, this is what I am. And then that's where you make that decision whether you want to hike up your price or whether you want to lower your price or you know, things like that. And so he was saying that sometimes you just do movies to maintain that lifestyle, to maintain, you need to work. You can't say that, you can't go to a grocery store and say, oh, I'm an actor, give me this. They will not do that. But when you go to, you know, for when they come to you for something, like there are people who will come to actors or you know, singers, or even to you, like, you know, everyone who is famous, they'll come to, like, can you just do this for us? Can you just do this for us? And it doesn't work like that. Like you know, so you have to really stand your ground and make your. This is a struggle that people really don't talk about. Many people in the industry, that they don't really talk about the struggles. They talk about all the, oh, the movie was fantastic, or the struggle in the movie.
Only the glam side of the industry.
But these things. So anyone who's, you know, who wants to come to this, I know there are so many young men and women who want to be in the limelight and be. always make sure that you stand your ground and you have financial independence. Don't put your head down to anyone. You know your worth. Don't let anyone else decide that for you.
Yeah.
So for that, that is very important. I feel that is important, because at certain times, people will try to put you down by bringing your worth down. That doesn't mean that that's them. That's how much they can do. That doesn't have to indirectly mean your worth. If that makes sense.
Yeah. As we are speaking, I have a question here. Like, ఏంటంటే, the male actors, if they get hit or they get familiar with a movie, I don't think they think twice to increase their remuneration.
Yeah.
When it comes to female actors, అదే ఫీమేల్ యాక్టర్స్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చేసరికి దే థింక్ ట్వైస్. అంటే నా రెమ్యూనరేషన్ నేను పెంచొచ్చా, ఆర్ ఎల్స్ ఐ షుడ్ బి కంటిన్యూయింగ్ విత్ ద సేమ్ అమౌంట్ రైట్ నౌ ఐఎమ్ రిసీవింగ్. Why do you think there is this kind of discrimination? Not about the actual remuneration part. Thinking from the actor's perspective, no, they only like kind of worried to increase their remuneration.
Now, it happens why? Because most of our movies are men oriented, like actor oriented. Female oriented or female importance right now, it's slightly increasing or changing. But if you take 1 in 100 movies that releases, majority of the people are going for to see the main actor there. That's why it's again, that's why they get paid more if it is his movie. Even the females also, so it's important for us, like as female artists, or and then there comes another thing of there are so many people ready to work for free also.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're ready to work for
they have replacement for you, but not for the...
Exactly. So then that's where you make your worth. You work on yourself. And now there is brilliant opportunities. It's not like back in the day, like when we were growing up, where we only had a handful of directors. There are so many new directors, brilliant directors. There are brilliant cameramen, and so many like technicians also. There's so many good technicians, and you have different platforms. Everybody's on their phone. And this 10-second, 30-second reels, you're entertained. It's not before, you have to go and watch a movie to get entertained.
Exactly.
Now you don't need that. You have your platform. The world is your platform. So you don't have to be in the movies to create your worth. I know so many fantastic artists who are not actors, but they're famous. They're famous because they made their own.
They're visible every time,
everywhere. Yeah, on Instagram, on YouTube, on wherever they have made their place there. So that's what I feel now. Like, it's not like before. If you really put your mind to it, you can have. You can do
at the end of the day, it's your dedication and determination. That brings you work.
That brings you work. And if you're consistent with that, it will come. It will come. You just have to be patient. And this is where it gets very difficult.
For every actor, exactly. Right.
You have to be patient. This waiting game, that's where it's very difficult sometimes, because sometimes you think that, what am I doing? And, so for me, I have gone through that, especially during the lockdown. First lockdown was fun. It was like, oh, vacation. For me, it was an extended vacation. I was like, oh, wow, I don't have to work. I can sleep. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. Then I started getting busy towards the end of 2020, and then 2021 again, when the second or the third lockdown happened.
Second was severe.
Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh God, no, this is not okay, because I'm done sitting at home, and I've always worked, and for 10-12 hours, and I just couldn't sit at home. And I was like, what am I doing? It's not about at that time I just wanted to work, like I just want to get out and just do something, so it was difficult. So everybody went through that. Like, it's not just a few people, everybody went through that. So that's a constant, like, how can world just come to a standstill? And it humbles you in a way. It really humbles you down. Like, doesn't matter who you are, what big you are, that's enough. Like, a little virus which you can't see with your own eyes is enough to bring you to your senses and bring you down. So it's very important that for us, don't let all these things and people around us or whatever to affect us, do what you think is, and it's be be present, and mentally we just have to be
Yeah.
so calm.
Yeah. But the only thing we should thank COVID.
Yes, in a way, yes. Don't come back again.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you very much.
bringing this change in us.
Yes. Yeah, it was a big eye opener.
Exactly.
For many, I think. Yeah.
ఆఫ్టర్ మంగళవారం మీ క్యారెక్టర్ చూసిన వాళ్ళు ద పీపుల్ హూ వాచ్ ద
Yeah.
ఫిలిం అండ్ సీన్ యువర్ క్యారెక్టర్ యూజువల్లీ ఇది కామన్ దే కమ్ అప్ విత్ ద సేమ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ రోల్స్ అండ్ ఆస్క్ యూ టు డూ
Yeah.
డిడ్ ఇట్ హ్యాపెన్
Yeah, I got another this thing also, like where I'm playing. I was like, I don't want to do the same thing again.
ఫ్రమ్ ద తెలుగు ఇండస్ట్రీ ఆర్ అదర్
Other industries also, like even in Malayalam also I got. I'm like,onna chedu now. I want to do something different. Like it's something. So I really want to do a police character. Like
Okay.
yeah, like because I did one with that was a cameo. I just had to take 3 days leave from work in 2017, and I quickly just came down to because it was with Mammootty sir.
ఓకే
I always wanted to meet him, and so I was like so fascinated, and my scenes were with him. So the movie's name is Masterpiece. So, okay, so I was playing a IPS role, like I was an IPS. I really loved the whole thing about it just gives you so much confidence. Like suddenly
Yeah,
you're
the
like you're so powerful with wearing your uniform, and I was like something about uniforms just make you feel like so. I would, and there are the 2 movies in Malayalam that's in the pipeline, which are police related. So I'm looking forward to that.
నైస్
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that to materialize and everything to come in place. It's ready. We're ready to start.
Okay.
Maybe probably by July or August.
బట్ ఇమీడియట్గా వన్ హిట్ తర్వాత సేమ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ రోల్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు డిడ్ యూ థింక్ ట్వైస్ రిజెక్టింగ్ దెమ్ అంటే బిఫోర్ రిజెక్టింగ్ దెమ్
No, if I see that's what I said. If it's like even after Color, I got a lot of roles where like it's housewife, and there was a lip lock scene, and then lip lock. I'm like, the director really convinced me for that role. It was necessary for that role for like for that. That's the only reason why I did that. I am not a big fan of this lip lock. Yeah, I am not. I feel like it's too personal. It's too, it's. I mean, I'm not saying it's. I won't do it again or whatever. But if it
should
really,
make sense.
Yeah, it should make sense. But so many I got so many offers and scripts like
It makes it
and I'm
doesn't
like,
make any sense,
no,
but
dude,
it should be there.
no, not happening. So I was like, no. So only if it like, and not only that, like sometimes it really has to be, make sense in the even if it's any scene for that matter, even if it's like an angry scene or if it's like when you're trying to kill someone. I see, like I've done few movies like that which I'm learning from that, like where I'm a killer in the movie, and that was before Mangalavaram that I did. Okay, so that's after that I got this Mangalavaram role. So I had to, but I said okay to Mangalavaram. I said okay to this movie also. Both were negative characters. So I will take similar roles if it actually makes sense to me. But sometimes when you go at the set, when it's narrated to you in a way, but when you are actually shooting for it and when you finally see the movie, it's not how you perceived.
Yeah.
Or it's not how you have been told or narrated to. So sometimes then you realize that okay, you have to what questions to ask next. That's why I had a deep discussion with Ajay Bhupati sir, like okay, like as in why is she doing this, and why can't she just leave her husband and go, like what? So you ask so many questions about the character, and then if it makes sense to you at the end of the day, if it makes sense to you, if it has some common sense, because now you can't fool the audiences, and most movies, if you see also in Malayalam especially, if it is relatable to the audience, it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If it's relatable, movies, and that's why script is so important. And the script is the hero most of the time, so it's important, like if it makes sense to you at the end of the day, and if you can convey that to the why you're doing this. So I made few mistakes in the past where I'm like, oh, it's negative character, wow, and all that stuff, and I have fight scenes and everything. I'll take it up, wow, it's nice, but it didn't make sense. It didn't make absolute sense. Like, why am I doing this? But then I didn't realize it until I was there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
sometimes you just learn with experience.
Exactly.
So and that's how, like, you know, so still I'm learning. I'm still a learner, as I feel like, you know. So that's why when they come with you know, okay, I did that in color, like there's a lip lock scene in color and whatever, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to do it in every movie. So I make sure, like I tell in the beginning itself, like, unless and until it's required, and I don't want to do it. Like, it's not important to me or anything of that sort. And you know, to show, there's so many ways that you can show intimacy between two people. You know, you can just sit next to each other, and I feel that's where the beauty is. Exactly. You know, you don't have to be like
Not
on top
the
of each
actual
other.
act, but the conversation, then the
just
looks.
with a look, or you know, with a smile, or with how you are. That's enough, and that shows a lot of intimacy than actually like
Doing the thing.
yeah. I mean, like I mean, sometimes I find that. So unless and until it makes sense to me, or I'm not going to do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
But Divya ji, like, you know, you working in different industries, Mollywood, Collywood,
Yeah.
and Tollywood.
Yeah.
Not in Sandalwood yet.
No. What is sandalwood?
Kannada.
Kannada. Okay, Kannada. Oh, Kannada is sandalwood. I didn't know.
Okay.
It's a beautiful name for them.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, not yet in sandalwood. No.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to sandalwood though.
Nice. So, no, for an actor being in one industry and managing everything here, knowing the nature of this industry is a particular industry is very difficult. But you're doing projects in 3 industries and knowing about the people, knowing about the nature of those industries, it's very difficult, right?
Yeah.
And upon that, selecting a script, script is totally based on the audience. Like,
Yeah.
is this script gonna work there or not in that industry,
Yeah.
or is it another small film which they shoot and there is no guarantee of release.
Yeah.
How do you choose all this? Is there anyone there to help you out?
Like in Telugu, I have my manager.
I wanna tell same question in Telugu.
Yes, please.
సో నేను ఏం అడిగానంటే, ఇప్పుడు 3 ఇండస్ట్రీస్లో ఎట్ ఏ టైం వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారు కదా. సో 3 ఇండస్ట్రీస్లో ఒక ఇండస్ట్రీలో వర్క్ చేసి అక్కడ స్క్రిప్ట్ ఎంచుకోవడం అనేది పెద్ద టాస్క్లా ఉంటుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఆ నేచర్ తెలియాలి ఇండస్ట్రీ గురించి. ఒకవేళ చేసిన మూవీ అక్కడ హిట్ అవుతుందా లేదా అనే క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ ఉంటుంది. కానీ ఎట్ ఏ టైం మీరు 3 ఇండస్ట్రీలో చేస్తున్నారు కదా, ఇది ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసుకుంటారు అని అడిగాను.
Like in Tamil and Malayalam, more or less, I can feel the pulse, like somewhere, because these are movies that I used to watch when I was a kid, even, like, and especially Malayalam, I don't, and Tamil, I now I've done one project called The Village. And now the other movie that's been we're doing is not named the film yet, but it's Vijay Sethupathi sir, Yogi Babu sir, Rukmani Vasant. So we are doing a movie together, the 4 of us, and it's a good fun movie. So because it was comedy and because it was the script also was fun. I'm like one of their friends, and you know, it's exploring. When I heard the character, it sounded good to me. Okay, so that's how I chose, and it is Vijay Sethupathi sir. And working with him is like going to 10 acting schools. You will get trained, and like him and Yogi Babu sirs is, you know, their work culture and the way how they handle a situation and you know the scene is, and since it's a comedy film, it was so much fun because I love doing comedy. Okay. And I would want to do comedy, but comedy is the hardest thing that you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, it was like, you know, that experience working with them, I had to grasp in a lot of things, like keep a straight face and then, you know, say like a dialogue. And, you know, without, it's crazy how he makes use of props nearby him so that your hands are not idle. I think the biggest challenge for an actor is, you know, what do you do when you're just the camera is at you, but what do you do with your arms?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what do you do with that? So then he will find something to do, and like, you know, and the way how he does it, and how he treats other actors and people in the set, that's so important, you know, and all that. So that was that experience. Coming back to our question, where in Telugu it was a bit challenging for me, because I don't know the pulse of the audience yet. Like I'm still trying to learn and still trying to feel it, still trying to see what. So it's exciting. At the same time, it makes me a little nervous as well. So I have a manager. I have my manager, and she's wonderful. And like, you know, she helps me through it. She helps me, like, you know, go through the whole thing, like, and explains to me, okay, this might work. This is good. So right now I'm doing a project called Tandil.
Oh, Tandil.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing a character. It's a character role in that movie. But again, it was her that who actually kind of like got me that that
Okay,
part.
manager helped
Yeah,
you. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
she helped me, and she kind of, and again, there was another movie with Fahad that I've you know, that's coming out in. I mean, we're starting shoot in July. It's Don't Trouble the Trouble.
Oh, okay, I have seen the poster.
Yeah, poster. I'm playing a character in that as well.
Okay.
And again, it's her who's like, you know, who's told me that. So for me, both roles were like, I'm so used to doing lead characters, and then I've done villain characters. Again, these are, you know, they're very important
Okay.
roles in movies. So for me, it was a bit like, you know, I'm doing a character, you know. So then they were like, she was like, no, just see it in this aspect, and see it in this. And when she got me the narration, it took me a while to, like, you know, just to accept that. But then once I'm glad.